What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and today we are talking about Antonio Brown. Now, we all know Antonio Brown and the Pittsburgh Steelers have had their fair share of turmoil over the past couple months or weeks or things like that, and we all knew that Antonio Brown will eventually be traded. He now today has officially requested a trade. So first off, from Pittsburgh Steelers fans, any Steelers fans watching this video, I want to get your thoughts on this. How do you feel about this whole situation? Do you want to keep Antonio Brown, or do you want to trade him? Let me know in the comment section below. I'll be happy to look at all your comments. So my thoughts, I think the Pittsburgh Steelers have to trade Antonio Brown. He is a bit of a diva, as wide receivers are. Now, in my opinion, I think Antonio Brown should be traded. That's my honest opinion. I mean, he is a bit of a diva. Antonio Brown is a diva, as all wide receivers are, but it is what it is. He's having conflicts with Ben Roethlisberger. He's having conflicts around the locker room. And as far as the whole Le'Veon Bell situation, I think it's best to take all the problems away from the Pittsburgh Steelers, because, I mean, there's got to be something going on in that locker room that nobody's talking about, because, I mean, everybody is not happy there in Pittsburgh. And as much people like to say Mike Tomlin is a leader of men and things like that, he really doesn't know how to control his players. He's had problems with the big three. He's had problems. Big Ben has been a diva at times. We all know what happened to Le'Veon Bell, and we all know what's going on with Antonio Brown. So something's going on that we don't know about. So in my opinion, Antonio Brown must be traded. Here are my top 5 landing spots Antonio Brown could land in 2019. My first spot is the New York Jets. Now, this is no particular order, but I think the Jets may make a huge play on him. They wanted to make a huge play on Le'Veon Bell. We'll see what happens during free agency, but they have the opportunity that with $95 million in cap space, they have the opportunity to make a play on both players. But in this particular video, we're talking about Antonio Brown. So with $95 million in cap, I think Antonio Brown should be a good fit there in New York. You know, I don't think he's going to handle the New York media very much. We all know what it's like being with the New York media. As Giants fans, of course, the Jets no different. But as far as the Jets goes on paper, we look at their depth chart right now. We look at their roster, and they don't have any clear-cut wide receivers here. I mean, the best you can get probably is Quincy Enunwa and Robbie Anderson. But Jermaine Kearse is a free agent. I don't know if they plan on re-signing him or not. I don't know. I'm not in the loop with the whole Jets situation, but I mean, either way, whether Jermaine Kearse comes back or not, they don't have a number 1 wide receiver. Antonio Brown will bring a different dynamic for them and help Sam Darnold out as far as winning for the Jets. The next team I have is the San Francisco 49ers. Now, the San Francisco 49ers, I believe, have somewhere around $70 million in cap. I did a review on them, so let's check out their cap. The San Francisco 49ers have about $55 million in cap, just about $55 million in cap, so that's just enough for them to make a move on Antonio Brown. They have enough, and I think they need to, because you had Jimmy Garoppolo there, and with Jimmy Garoppolo there, we all know what he was able to do his first year with the 49ers. He didn't do anything now because he got injured, but he needs someone to throw to, right? You have Pierre Garçon, old man Pierre Garçon, and then you have Marquise Goodwin, who's only pretty much good for running in a straight line. Then you have Dante Pettis, who you guys drafted, I believe, in the 2nd round. He's not going to be a number 1 wide receiver for you guys. You guys don't have a clear-cut number 1. Give yourself a big weapon for Jimmy Garoppolo to throw to, and you guys have the cap space to do it. I think the San Francisco 49ers is another landing spot for Antonio Brown. The next team I have is similar to the San Francisco 49ers, in which we're staying in California, the Oakland Raiders. Now, the Oakland Raiders, are in shackles right now. They don't know what to do right now. Their roster is pretty bad. I think Antonio Brown will make a great fit there. Now, I think, not that it matters to Antonio Brown, but I think he would want to go to a winning team. I think the Oakland Raiders have a long ways to go, but this is a team that this is the team that Antonio Brown could land in 2019, being that their wide receiver core also is very bad. Jordy Nelson is a shell of himself. Marcel Aitman is there, their 7th round pick. He's starting. You got Seth Roberts, guys like that. Dwayne Harris, who doesn't even participate. Brendan LaFell, who's a free agent. So nobody worth noting in that wide receiver core. So I think Antonio Brown has a potential of landing there as well. So the next team I have is a team that you guys might not have thought would be in the running for Antonio Brown, but I would say so, in the Indianapolis Colts. Now, this is interesting because they already have a number 1 wide receiver in T.Y. Hilton, and he is not struggling whatsoever. But they have like way over $100 million in cap space. They have an extremely young team. They've drafted most of their players, and they've got their free agents are on cheap contracts, so they can afford pretty much anybody they want. They could also afford Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown, so the Jets have some competition there, and that might be a place that both those players land at. But the Indianapolis Colts is another team. I mean, besides T.Y. Hilton, you really don't have anybody there. Dontrell Inman is a free agent. Ryan Grant's a free agent. Chester Rogers is there, sure. But you really don't have anybody else. You're talking about Deion Kane and Zach Pascal. I mean, these are guys that consistently are playing for the Indianapolis Colts that aren't that good. Think about putting in Antonio Brown and T.Y. Hilton together. I mean, it'll be relatively unstoppable, similar to what we already seen with Juju Smith-Schuster and Antonio Brown. Both of them had just about over 1,300 yards. Antonio Brown was 3 yards shy of 1,300 yards, and he was basically the number 2 wide receiver because Juju Smith was getting all the targets. So the Indianapolis Colts is the 4th team I have on my list that can land Antonio Brown. Like I said, no particular order, but the Colts are definitely in the running. And last but not least, we're going to go back into the NFC West, and we're going to talk about the Arizona Cardinals. Now, the Arizona Cardinals have about $50 million to work with in cap space this year, so they can definitely get that done. Larry Fitzgerald is coming back for another year. We all know that he's not really a number 1 receiver anymore. He definitely can scoot aside for Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown will make a great fit there, help Josh Rosen out in developing as a quarterback and giving him another option to throw to, because he pretty much just has Larry Fitzgerald in front of him. J.J. Nelson is a free agent. You have Christian Kirk, who, I mean, Christian Kirk is fine, but you're going to want to add another weapon in there. The wide receiver core, again, almost non-existent besides Larry Fitzgerald and Christian Kirk if he's healthy, but Antonio Brown will be a great fit there as well. So there you have it. That is my 5 potential landing spots for Antonio Brown. We've got the Jets, we've got the 49ers, we've got the Oakland Raiders, we've got the Indianapolis Colts, and we have the Arizona Cardinals. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, guys. Where do you think Antonio Brown will land up? Give me your top 5 teams down below, and subscribe if you guys are new, and I will see you guys in the next video.